Words cannot describe how good the Chimera arc is. Like, I cannot believe this. How is Hunter x Hunter having my favorite horror arc that I have ever seen? Because this is brutal and bordering on gruesome, and I love it. I'm about a third of the way through the arc. I think episode 91, we have just got to the boys crying, and we're at the tree and leaving the tree. Okay, that should be enough information of where I am. I have like a new favorite trope, and that is characters that I thought had plot armor getting eaten by monsters. This was, oh my god. I gotta talk about that first, because there were two characters in here who's, in all fairness, I don't learn the names of characters till I actually start to care about them. But the pink hat girl and the guy from the, oh no, she didn't have pink, the bee girl and the guy with the pink hat from the exams. I'm like, decent side characters. They know the boys. They're going to have to team up, meet them, rescue them, get help, rally together. Yeah, they're safe side characters. No, the girl, she gets eaten. Like, head, brain, she's full on eaten by the Chimera monsters. And I'm like, I did not see that coming. And then I'm like, oh, well, the guy, he's just hiding among the bones. He'll be safe, and eventually he'll team up with Them, and they'll rally to fight the monsters. He'll avenge his friend's death. No! No! In a process to learn more about Nen, the cat Chimera, gives him like full on, I guess, lobotomy or something, probing into his brain. Not graphically, but you could kind of leave it to your imagination with the sound alone. And it's just like, tell me everything about Nen and these abilities and how they work and how you know what type you have and how to develop it. And he's given all this information. And then when she gets everything, is it a boy cat or a girl cat? I don't even know. The cat Chimera gets everything that they need from him. It's like, all right, feed him to the queen, and he's dead. It's so good. And then, so we meet Kite, who was a student of Gon's father, and I'm just like, obvious gotta be plot armor with him, because he's gonna have to train the boys, learn more about his father, send them on their merry way. No. He gets into a fight with the cat Chimera, and we'll get more into that later when I talk about specifics. But then the next time we see him, we cut to the fight. He knows he's going to lose. He sends the boys away. I'm assuming he's going to find a way to flee and run away. We see him next with his severed head on their lap, the cat Chimera's lap. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want him to come back, but he's going to come back because the cat Chimera was just like, oh, I had so much fun playing with you, I want to do it again, so stitches them back together and going to end up coming back. But I'm like, I want the devastation that Gon will feel when he realizes he was forced to flee unconsciously, so, and the person that he is going back to protect and help has been killed, murdered while he was away, while he wasn't strong enough to protect him. I want to see that reaction. Yes, I may be a sadist. Yes, I love the trauma. The trauma is why I watch anime. Oh, it was so good. Oh my god, this arc so far. I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. Quick negatives of the arc so far, nothing, really. Honestly, my main issue is with the king ant in general, just because I don't know that much about the animal kingdom in terms of ants. Etymology is not my strong suit, but it's just like there are queen ants, there are queen bees, the queens of the animal kingdom or the insect kingdom makes sense to me. The king is either non-existent or pointless, and I don't understand the hierarchy here because the queen makes a king ant who will then go off and make another queen ant to continue the hot. The kings are pointless, and I don't. Why is it a king ant instead of like either a princess ant or another queen? Because a queen should be making another queen to go make another that will leave to go make their own kingdom or take over after this queen has died. But instead, they make a king ant who will then mate with another female and turn her into a queen ant. Like, where's the queen ants come from? Because the king's just got to leave to find another species, but that doesn't change the fact that the species that he will find to mate with to create a new colony and hive or whatever we want to call it is not the same species as the queen. So how is that new species making all the soldiers and everything like that? I don't understand why it's a king that she is focused on making instead of like a princess or another queen. I'd prefer if it was another queen. Would just make more sense to me. But we're ignoring that because he is vicious and I love to hate him. So the queen of the Chimera ants put all this effort into getting the nutrients that she needed to make the most powerful king ant. I'm just going to roll with the fact that this is how the world works when she's focused on making the king ant to continue on. And prematurely, from within the egg sac thing, another thing I don't understand, why were the other egg sacs just hung up somewhere, but this one still had to be attached? Was it not ready to detach? It doesn't really make sense to me. It does not matter. It's cool and I don't care. Rule of cool, if it's cool, it doesn't matter. Accept all logic. So, still attached to the queen ant, didn't just lay an egg, whatever. He bursts out, even though he's not ready to be born, or she says he's not ready to be born. He wants out, so he essentially kills her, rips her organs out on his way out, and then brutally murders the other Chimera ants that tried to run past him to help her, to heal her. He does not care. Let her die. She means nothing to me. I'm going to go off, find some good food, someone feed me, and get me a better place to be because this place is trash. The queen's guards now revert to the king, which makes sense because that's how it was set up previously, and they no longer care about the queen. She's useless to them. Their loyalty is to the king, whereas the other chimeras still report directly to her, and they're trying to protect her, but terrified of these people, rightfully so. So he's set up to be a monster and powerful and terrifying. That's all done excellent. But at the same time, he's a little brat. How dare you speak to your mother like that? I love to hate this man already. Oh my god, I didn't even mention with the king. Another reason I love to hate this man. There's one trope I love. I love this. It works so well every single time that I see it. And that is when someone who the torturer gives a weapon to the one they are torturing, like here's a knife, like shave me, and they are like holding a knife to their throat and knows that they cannot kill them, that kind of thing. Think Ramsay Bolton, and I think I've seen it in a couple other shows. So after killing two of the chimeras, or at least one of them at first, the queen is dying. The other group soldiers want to get to the queen. His tail thing is full of blood. And it's just like holds it up to the main chimera that we've been following, Colt, something like that. It's like, here, clean this off for me. And granted, he's not giving him a weapon that can be used to hurt him, but it's just like, I'm so powerful, you're going to do what I say in this immensely stressful situation. And I just like that little moment right there, the like psychological torture of it to his own people. So good. All right, rewinding. That wasn't even a complaint. I'm loving this. So back when the series starts, we have Gon and Killua have transported themselves to Kite, the student of Gon's father. I don't like Gon's father. I do not like this man, because if he had used the transporting to just himself, just Gon, then it would have took him to his father. But because he brought a friend, that means he's too weak to face him on his own, and he didn't want to see him, so it sent him to Kite instead. And part of that is brushed off aside of Gon's father doesn't want an audience around his son because he probably hasn't treated his son very well running off like this, and just doesn't want people around to see whatever they talk about. Whatever, fine. They go to Kite. Kite does not immediately recognize Gon, but eventually has to roll his ability thing, gets like a machine gun to shoot out a bunch of ants. We learn about the Chimera ants. These guys are just little ants. And Class 1 quarantine, because they reproduce through phagocytosis, more or less, to take in other species, take their abilities, whether it be wings or intelligence or whatever, to pass on to the next generation and make themselves stronger, and can wipe out or incorporate full-on species. Now we have the Queen Chimera ant, who has eaten humans, gotten a taste for that. I didn't even talk about the trauma inflicted in this. This show is killing kids. Oh, I'm going to be all over the place with this review, because the kids that we are introduced to I don't even think we really learn their names. We've established I don't learn names until I care about them, and they kind of gotta stay alive long enough after I care about them for me to learn their names. I'm not going back. A brother and sister. The brother is set up to be very loyal, protecting his sister first from a snake, and then when the Chimera ants, who are looking like other giant humans, adult human-sized insects, come after them. And they eat the kids. They eat the children. Queen gets a taste for the nutritious things of humans, and then she's like sending her army out to bring in more, and it's just like 50, 100, keep bringing them in. And I'm just like, they killed the kids. They killed the kids, my god. Back to the beginning. Killua and Gon talk to Kite. He learns who they are, and he meets up with, or they meet up with his other group who are researching insects that are going on here. I am very much missing Karabika because I don't care about any of these side characters really right now. I want him back, but it's fine. It's fine. They eventually figure out that the Chimera ants are at this location, this isolated island that got technology all removed. I forget the names, like 3 letters. Side note, at one point in time, they say like Gon's senses are as strong as a dog. And I've been saying I don't know who Gon's mother is. I'm questioning whether Gon's father is actually his father, if he adopted him, picked him up off the battlefield and brought him back to Whale Island to be protected. And now we're bringing in, like, mixing in DNA into the plot line. Like, I'm wondering if Gon is fully human at this point, or if he has dog DNA inside of him. Just side note. So the place is called NGL, and again, they have to go there and give up all technology before they can enter, which makes it hard to get word out when something goes wrong, and the mass missing people of this island. We learn about the underground organization that, like, in the shadows, mafia kind of style group that runs this place, and drugs and guns and weapons, yada yada. We spend an awful lot of time with the main organization head's backstory, tragically so, to really never see him. Him and his organization have all been eaten and consumed by the Chimera, so therefore their personality traits are passed into that, so I guess that explains a little bit more their ruthless side and their personalities there, but I'm wondering if we'll get more to them later, if he'll play a role specifically in what's going on, or the comeuppance of it. Speaking of personalities, the little brother that got eaten at the beginning when we're just killing kids here, he has been, like, more or less reincarnated as one of the Chimeras. Like, his personality has been brought through, and the loyalty that he had towards his family and his sister and protective nature has been transferred to the queen, and he's very adamant on needing to protect her and follow the orders. So that's interesting. I'm wondering which of the Chimera ants will have the personality of his sister. And he does kind of have those memories. He called his sister's name at one point in time, but then didn't even realize he said it. I don't like that, really. I would prefer... I'm fine with the personality traits going over, but the actual memories, not so much. I don't want this to be of a tragedy, your friend was killed and eaten by the ants, but not really, because they're here now and will get their memories back, and they'll just have a new body with new powers. Like, I can see the pink hat one coming back just as a Chimera ant, and now he's fighting with them in this new body, but it's still him. No, give me the trauma, keep the trauma. I don't want resurrection of any type. I don't care if they get a new body or not. It's allowed in Batman, that's about it. So Kite, Gon, and Killua are going off searching the area. They run into the Rabbit Chimera, the Rabbit Chimera, who, when fighting Gon and Killua, the attack with Nen is what activates his own Nen ability. So now the Chimeras have Nen, and that's when they eat the pink hat guy and learn more about how to tell the different types and whether you're a specialty one or not. And, oh my god, the Chimera ants, the Queen's Guard, who will become the King's Guard, the cat one, my god, is terrifying. Like, psychotically, I fear this person so very much. And the power they have. We'll get to their fight in a minute, can't jump over, because first I gotta talk about when they get to the, like, Mafia Underground Organization's headquarters that the Chimeras have taken over after they ate everybody. Kite has Gon and Killua fight the leaders of that group area that's taken over that part. Said guy has, like the centaur-looking one, Chimera, has 2 humans acting like dogs, naked and on chains, barking and begging for their life. And then he crushes their head like nothing. Gon tries to go and help, but Kite stops him because it's too late and he'll just be walking into an ambush. So they get slaughtered. The Chimeras are like, now I need 2 more dogs, so I'll take you guys. And they start fighting. And Kite puts them to the task. Like, if you can't fight these people, then you're not you're not strong enough to continue with me. So Gon ends up fighting one of them, and he uses instead of rock, he uses scissor, which is like a blade, and slices the one's head off, but he's still alive, and Kite has to kill that Chimera because you have to destroy the head first. They can live a couple days, like a cockroach, when their heads separate from the body. Killua does not have any issue with slaughtering his opponent, and of course, he's immune to poison. I need to have words with Killua's parents. That's all I gotta say. Words need to be had, because why? Why is he immune to poison? It's good, but it's my sweet boy, my sweet, sweet boy. But my favorite fight with the Chimeras is going to be when Gon is fighting the armadillo one, and he gives him an out. He's like, listen, you're not killing me. I'm not asking for a way to surrender and live for my own sake. I'm offering it to you. How do I know when you want to surrender? And I'll let you go. I'll let you live so long as you promise never to eat humans again. And the armadillo guy is just laughing at him, being like, that's not going to happen. I'm going to kill you. Goes to attack Gon. Gon crushes him dead. And I'm just like, my boy has killed somebody. I bet he wished that armadillo guy had wished that he had taken Gon up on his offer at that point. But then the next one comes through. I can't remember what he is. Probably a rhino. Who knows? He comes through, and it's Killua's turn, and lightning attack to the chest destroys his heart. What is most interesting is Gon saying that he has no problem with killing these chimeras because they are like laughing at their comrades. They don't have honor among themselves. They don't have friendships among themselves. So why? He doesn't really care that they've had to kill them. Kite is just like, well, what happens when we come across chimeras or enemies that do have like camaraderie and care about each other? What's he gonna do then? And then we never get an answer to that, because that's when the cat shows up, and Kite is full on, get out of here, run. Pushes Gon and Killua back, takes the blow, loses an arm, and Gon, having like such determination and will, wants to go fight right away. But Killua knows they are outmatched, knows they are in the way. This wouldn't have happened if they were even there. He knocks Gon out immediately, no hesitation, throws him over his shoulder, and runs. Absolute books it out of there. And Kite is just like, good job, Killua. That is the right move. 100%. You have to run. But that's when we get into Killua's flaw, if you call it that. I'm not calling it a flaw. This is a survival mechanism. He is good. Killua has been taught from most likely infancy that if your opponent is stronger than you, then you run. We've seen that in the York New arc when he was going up against the spiders, when he knew he couldn't fight them, how he was willing to sacrifice himself to protect Gon, but at the same time his body physically would not respond. It would not allow him to move forward, so they had to like retreat. And I am convinced, if nothing else, because it wasn't quite as obvious in the York New arc, but it's definitely here with his brother in the background, his brother's voice, the hypnotic looks and waves around everything. I'm convinced that his family has put him under a legit spell to say, you will run. If you are, this is how we smotheringly love and protect you, is to force you to flee from an opponent, not fight someone stronger than you. I'm convinced it's a mental thing in his head, not just like psychological. It's the magic ability, 100%. I almost feel like I heard someone say that. I've never heard very many people talk about Hunter x Hunter, but I feel like I have been told that when someone said like his family is manipulative, I feel like that might have been something that I have been told. And I just can't remember it exactly, but so I don't think I completely came up with that idea on my own, but it's there. It's 1,000% there. So that's when they have to leave, and he meets the chairman and 2 other pro hunters who are coming in to deal with the Chimera arc invasion that's going on. And one of them starts ridiculing Killua, saying, "You ran away. You're fighting, knowing you're going to lose. So you have like 1 foot ready to run. That means you've already failed. You have to like put your life on the line. Believe you can win. That will is what makes you win." And Gon has that. You don't. You are a failure. Don't like this man, but at the same time, Killua kind of needs that pep talk. So they are given one last chance, and that's going to be, they're given like 2 halves of the tiles, and they have to get those tiles from the other Pro Hunter students before they're strong enough to go back into NGL and help them fight the Chimeras. I didn't even talk about this. I did not even mention it. Kite's ability with the rolling thing, and it spins a number and that's the weapon he gets, he always says bad roll. At one point in time, he's given like a scythe with a tornado thing and slaughters everybody and like chops down the trees, and he's like, oh, that's a bad roll. How is that a bad roll? What's a good roll? Because that's ridiculous. All right, talking about the Cat Chimera, because I love their introduction, just how they set up how powerful they were, just because I normally hate it. I hate. I feel like it's real lazy writing when you set up your new big bad strong character by just saying, oh, they're stronger than this one who have been previously established. Previously, we've seen what they've done, and they've been set up as a villain. Well, oh, this guy's stronger than that one. Whereas somehow it worked much better here. First of all, they already look crazy, so unknown power right there. We know they're a specialist, so incredible strength and potential there. But to hear Killua say, like, this one's Nen ability, it feels more dangerous than his brother's or Hisoka's. When we see that the power, he's felt their presence and power before, and he's been terrified of his brother, but that's just put off due to psychological torture there. And Hisoka, he's been afraid of him, but not to the point where I gotta book, I gotta run, this is bad. Whereas his facial features and responses, how he reacts to feeling this one's presence, the Cat Chimera, it works so well to establish like the fear that this and the power that they have, and his want to just run, whereas these other villains, he did not have that same reaction for. So I love that so much. And then we are immediately proven his power when they chop off Kite's head and is just sitting there playing with it. And then later on, when the king shows up and attempts to kill him the way that they had killed the other chimeras, tail to the face, and didn't explode. So it's like, oh, you've earned my respect because I was trying to kill you, and you're durable enough that you didn't die. I'm like, this Cat Chimera one is set up very well in terms of strength and power, and I do really like that. So when Gon wakes up, he thanks Killua, knowing that they would not have won, that they would have been in the way, and that they will get stronger, go back to save Kite. And then, of course, we get Kite on the Cat Chimera's head, and I'm just like, he's dead. I need to see your reaction when you find out he has died. But anywho, they go looking for who they have to fight. They find Pom, something like that. One of the students who is not allowed to go with them unless they beat Knuckles and Shoot and Knuckles, something like that. The 2 other students of the other one who went with the chairman into NGL. I always have a little bit of an issue with the female characters in Hunter x Hunter right now. There's always like one little trope that bugs me about them, rather than just give me a good character, female character as a whole. There's always just one little trope that bugs me. In her case, it's the fact that first she's in love with her teacher, and that's played up for laughs because she's all creepy looking. I love the design. I love the personality. But then she's going, oh, yeah, no, he can't know. Woe is me. Completely in love, idolize this man, and adding all the sugar. And they're like, can we just learn how to get our tiles, the other half of our tiles? And then eventually she's falling for Gon, and I'm just, can we not? Can we leave that romance element out of it, please? Whatever. But then, as if to remind me that there are good female characters in here, and I only even brought that one up because previously, when they were trying to get to NGL, they were talking about how, oh, you can't have silicone in there, or to bring in, and these are the people who, for whatever reason, can't come through, and I'm just like, Yeah, the female character in the group with Kite can't come through. I wonder, we're gonna assume that she had braces or a bolt in an arm or something like that. Yeah, not silicone related. Regardless, side note, don't actually care. I promise I don't actually care. It was just a side thought. Biscuit is brought back. My favorite teacher that they've had so far. So she is training them up. They have to use their abilities and keep their aura going for like a full 3 hours. And at first they can barely get through a half hour, but then they're going 2 hours easy, and soon they'll work up to being able to keep that ability for a full 3 hours, and that they're getting stronger. And then they had to go fight Knuckles. And I love him. At first I did not, because he was overly confident. It's like, oh, hit me with whatever you got, and I won't move from this spot. And he's looking down on them, going hits him with rock, immediately sends him flying, knocks this man out cold. I'm like, you're pathetic. How'd that happen? What are you? You're what? But it turns out he actually is strong. He's also very beloved by animals, and every time we see him, he has more and more dogs around him, and I love that. And he is teaching Gon as they continue the fight, because now that he's taking them semi-seriously, still not fighting with his full strength, but actually knows that they are a threat and can't just stand by and get hit by rock full on. He is outclassing them in every single way, and he's helping Gon develop his techniques through fighting, through battles, through experience, even mentioning one time that if Gon had more experience, more durability, he used was it paper? Whatever. Something that shot the net out at like a slow beam. Didn't have the power of rock, but used it as a distraction to get around him, to use the rock attack. And if he had been able to land that attack and not pass out, that would have finished him off. He would have won. And I really love this guy. He then takes him seriously for the first time, really using his own ability as like bankruptcy. Like, we're learning about interest rates. And as it goes on longer and longer, eventually the toll comes due and it knocks Gon out. It's too much for him. And he ends up having his net abilities sealed off for a full month. My biggest complaint here being that we didn't actually see that fight. I'm fine with occasionally subverting tropes in the genre, but this one felt like, yeah, I just don't feel like writing the end of the fight, so he lost. That's all you're going to really learn. And then we get same thing with Killua. He's talking about how Biscuit made an assumption, okay? So she's correct, but I'm angry about it. Saying how he has been trained by his family to flee, to run, whenever fighting an opponent stronger than him. And that's something that he needs to overcome. And if not, he's going to leave Gon to die. How? When? When the world? Because York New happened. They were fighting the spider guys, and not once did he ever think of leaving Gon. And fighting with the cat Chimera, his response was to run, but first it was to grab Gon and then run. I can't see him leaving Gon to die. That's ridiculous. But she's got it put in his head that if he can't overcome this flaw on his part of running when his opponent is stronger than him, then he would leave Gon to die. And therefore, if he can't overcome that, he has to leave Gon now so that doesn't happen in the future. Ridiculous. So we don't see his fight really to conclusion either. Just know that he has lost. And now he too will leave Gon after these 30 days is up, because first he must stay to protect him while he doesn't have his net abilities. And I just think that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's no way he would leave Gon to die. He would knock him unconscious and run with him. He would take the time to grab his friend and then run. Ridiculous. Now, part of what pushed me off from continuing this arc so long was, we don't need to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen, but one of my main complaints about that series in season 2 was a narrator. I cannot tell you how much I hate narrators in series. To me, I feel talked down upon. It feels like the author did not do enough setup and just want to jump into something else, so they have to exposition dump a bunch of information to the audience, say, hey, this is actually what's going on, so you're not confused. I would rather be confused. I'd rather you just treat everything whatever, and if the characters have not been given this information, why the hell should I be given that information? So it really bugs me when we have a narrator, and I was told that there was a narrator in the Chimera arc, and that really put me off wanting to continue. Thankfully, this section, pretty much no narrator. Nothing past the little voice you get explaining what happened last episode. There was a single line where the narrator came in randomly just to say that Killua's opponent, Shoot, is a coward. And I'm like, if I hadn't been told that the narrator starts to overplay their use, that line might not have stood out to me, but like, I did not need you to tell me that. I did not need to tell me that that's why he was hiding and didn't attack them when they were weak and leaving after losing to Knuckles. But they did. And I'm just like, I don't like it. I don't like this. So not looking forward to if that narrator's voice continues in the future episodes. I'm nervous for that because that line was not necessary. All right, so Gon and Killua are staying out. They're going to have to, I'm not sure, find some other way to get more powerful to feel like they are worthy of going back to the island and fighting the Chimeras, because clearly they're going back. I'm not sure if Killua's actually going to leave Gon after those 30 days, and Gon's just going to have to convince him to come back with him. I hope he doesn't return to his family. That's not going to happen. I don't know how they're getting back on the island, what will motivate them back, or what will give them the confidence and power boost to think that they are strong enough to go back. But the king has been born with his 3 guards, and the queen is dying. So the reincarnation of the little boy from previously, Cole, something like that, is now waving a white flag and talking to the chairman and the other 2 hunters, begging for their help to heal the queen, because the other ones can't help them. And it's a little bit of, well, why should we help you? Because if you don't, then the soldiers will go off and they will spread their seed and make new armies, and it'll just be a whole mess for you. It works better if the queen is alive. So they're talking about that, and that's more or less when I stopped watching because I felt it was a good point to stop. My God, I love this arc so much. I love how brutal it is. I love how I genuinely feel like no one is safe. Other than Gon and Killua, I don't feel the series would be willing to kill them off. But the way that in Greed Islands, like Killua injured his arm, pretty much lost the use of it, and it was reverted back to the way, like completely healed afterwards. I'm like, oh, we don't get the consequences to that injury. If Killua was injured in this arc, I feel like it would have long-term consequences. Right now, we're dealing with emotional consequences, but like if they're injured, I feel like that's not just getting reversed. So I'm dying to continue on, and I will. So I will talk to you later. Bye.